Hello YouTube, I'm Scruffy at Scruffy Tales, and this is the War Zone. And in today's video we will be taking a look at the potential possibility that Russia is close to or about to cut off Fortress Avdiivka from reinforcements. And first off, we'll just locate Avdiivka. We have the front line, and in the red box we have the location for Avdiivka and the battle going on around it, where Russia is trying to surround the city and cut it off. And if we take a look at the liveua map, I think we see something really interesting going on north of Avdiivka, or potentially interesting, that could be, to be perfectly honest, devastating for Ukraine. And according to this map, we have 2 points of contact between Russian forces and the Ukrainian troops north of Berdichi, as well as a Russian push in directly south of Stepove. That I don't think we've really seen on the deep state map, but we've seen something similar on the ISW map. And here we can compare deep state with the liveua map and the ISW map, and we have Stepove highlighted with the blue box, and clearly deep state doesn't really show the same Russian advances as the liveua map does. But the ISW has for a couple of weeks had this claimed Russian advance north of Berdichi, highlighted with the orange field. And that coincides what we're now seeing on the liveua map, especially if these points of contact that liveua map is highlighting are true. Then we really have a Russian attempt to outflank Stepove and Berdichi from the north, just like the ISW map has claimed for a couple of weeks. And what has Russia achieved? Well, especially the northernmost contact point indicates that Russia has managed to cut a supply line coming in from the north to Berdichi. They've taken control of a road that is coming in from the north towards Berdichi, and they have crossed that road and are fighting in the windbreaks, the tree lanes further west of it. So Russia has managed to cut this supply line for the Ukrainians coming in from the north. And as it happens, I suggested that this was their actual goal a little more than a week ago. If you take a look at my previous video, hotspots, frontline hotspots, you can watch me go over this potential scenario. And now it seems liveua map is confirming that Russia is attempting this very thing. So why is this push important? What is Russia trying to do? Well, they are cutting off Berdichi from the larger town of Ocheretune. And Ocheretune is important because of the railway, the railroad that cuts through it. It has a big train station, and this is a logistical hub for Ukraine, a forward base of operations, basically, where they can ship in troops and equipment and vehicles via train, unload, and then they can drive down to fight the Russians. And Russia has now potentially cut off the supply line from Ocheretune to Berdichi. And that means that the only real larger train station that Ukraine can make use of in order to bring in reinforcements to help out Avdiivka is located at Selane, indicated by the purple circle, and Ocheretune is obviously the blue circle. And the importance, the relevance becomes quite clear when you take a look at this map. Between Ocheretine and Berdici, the supply line is roughly 5.5 kilometers long, maybe 6 kilometers if you take into account all the bends in the road. And if you have to unload all your troops at Selane, and drive from there all the way to Semenivka, it's 15 kilometers instead of the 5.5 to 6 kilometers. So basically, if you unload at Selane, then it takes longer for you to transport troops via road from Selane to the front line. It costs you time, it consumes more fuel, and so on. And you are more likely to potentially get stuck on flooded roads or get gridlocked and what have you as vehicles are pushing back and forth along these narrow country roads. And here I've highlighted the main supply line, the vital road leading from Ocheretine to Berdici that potentially Russia has now gained control of, or at least they are able to open fire on it potentially, cutting that off as a viable supply route. And if we take a look on the larger map, the yellow dotted lines highlight all the supply lines leading into Avdiivka, and the vital one from the north, from Ocheretine to Berdici, has now potentially been severed. And returning to our three maps, the three main sources, just to highlight where the UA live map has listed one of the points of contact. It's northeast of Berdici, slightly east of a small lake. And this is where apparently Russia has managed to push forward and made a clash with the Ukrainian forces trying to defend the north of Berdici and Stepove. And as we can also see, this coincides with the ISW map, what they've been saying for a couple of weeks, that Russia is trying to move in from north of these two towns. And we also have a claim that Russia has managed to push forward a lot further south of Stepove than compared to the deep state map. And now I want to move on and take a closer look at what dangers Ukraine faces if Russia has actually managed to push as far ahead as the live UA map suggests, in that they have managed to reach this small country road directly south of Stepove. And if this is true, Ukraine is in a lot of trouble, to be honest. And even judging by the deep state map and the contested area highlighted in the gray area, I think it's safe to say that Russia is well and truly trying to advance along this particular windbreak tree lane in order to achieve what we are now seeing on the live UA map. And yes, if Russia has taken this particular windbreak, this tree lane south of Stepove, as they appear to be trying to do according to the deep state map, and then they are obviously in a position to attack Stepove from the south, outflank the village. They can also continue west along a small stream located in a tiny gully. And from there they can reach the supply lines leading from Berdici to Orlivka. And if they get that far, they can obviously push on towards Semenivka, cutting another really vital supply line. They can also obviously push south towards Orlivka, this vital hub where all supply lines converge and then spread out as they continue towards Avdiivka. The Russians can also head south along this small country road that I've highlighted with the white dotted line. And if they do that, they eventually reach one of the two supply routes leading into the defenses at the Avdiivka itself. The first one leads into the very important coke plant. And if they manage to cut this supply line, they are then in an excellent position to move on and cut off the last remaining vital supply line at Lastoshkine. And if they manage to cut off the supplies at these two locations, then Avdiivka is completely on its own, without any hope of getting any supplies, any reinforcements, or anything. So as you can see, what we've seen on the liveua map concerning the potential Russian advances, that's not a small thing. That is actually potentially quite devastating for Ukraine and gives Russia massive opportunity to threaten the Ukrainian positions within the city of Avdiivka itself. Right, that's it for this time around. Tried to get this recorded before the family woke up, failed, and that's why you had some background noise towards the end there. But yeah, Russia is pushing forward and it's not looking good. It seems as if Ukraine will be ground down eventually. And yeah, they have one hell of a fight ahead of them. And all that said, gå på marsch, Ukraine, give them hell. Fucking music in the background. Anyway, yeah, see you in the next one.